Prior to using a portable extinguisher, pull the pin and test the discharge to ensure that the device produces positive agent and to check its effective range. Aim at the base of the flames, squeeze the discharge handles, and apply the agent with a sweeping motion.
Okay, positive agent.
The 2.5-gallon water extinguisher is a stored pressure appliance with 35-foot range and 55-second duration.
This is a 2.5-gallon water extinguisher. It's pressurized simply with air. It has, the top is removed. It's filled with 2.5 gallons of just plain old water. Simply uses an air chuck, just like you would use on a tire, to fill it up to approximately 100 psi. It's simply activated by pulling the pin, aiming the nozzle, and squeezing. But it is a good extinguisher for small class alpha fires. It's a first aid for small fires, essentially.
Foam extinguishers are 2.5-gallon stored pressure appliances with 35-foot range and 55-second duration. Portable fire extinguishers must be inspected monthly and serviced annually according to the manufacturer's instructions.
The first thing is a visual inspection to make sure that there's no obvious dents, cracks, or breaks in it. Make sure that the hose is secured and tight, doesn't have any abrasions or frays in it. Make sure that the pin is in place and that the gauge reads in the green, which means that it's completely pressurized. Next, you want to make sure that the aerator nozzle is in place. This is the aerator feature on the nozzle here, and you want to make sure there's no obstructions in the tube. Foam is good for Class B fires. There's two main reasons you wouldn't want to use it on a Class C fire. The first being that the water that's used as the base of the foam solution conducts electricity, and the second that the water being applied to energized electrical equipment could damage it. With the wind at your back and with your face shield down, and you'll start a sweeping pattern roughly 6 to 8 feet away from the base of the fire.
Dry chemical extinguishers come in 2 to 30-pound sizes. They have ranges from 10 to 30 feet and discharge durations of 8 to 30 seconds, depending on size.
Okay, this is a cartridge-operated dry chemical extinguisher. It is filled with 18 pounds of dry chemical. This happens to be regular dry chemical. It could be ABC dry chemical, could be Purple K. It has a cartridge that is filled with CO2 to activate it. We want to make sure that the cap is on snug. This normally would have a band on it, sealing it. We would bring the handle up, breaking the band. We would gain control of the extinguisher. You control the nozzle so that if this charges with the nozzle in the open position, it doesn't fly up and hit you in the face. You want to double check and make sure the cap is tight, and then you would strike the plunger with this aimed away from you or anyone else. So if this cap came off, it wouldn't injure someone.
Dry chemical extinguishers carried aboard ship should be shaken frequently to prevent the agent from caking on the bottom of the container. A standard carbon dioxide extinguisher holds 15 pounds of agent in a cylinder weighing approximately 45 pounds. These devices feature a range of 6 to 8 feet with typical discharge durations of 45 seconds. CO2 extinguishers lose effectiveness in exterior spaces where the agent is dispersed by the wind. Carbon dioxide gas also represents an asphyxiating hazard to personnel.
This is a 15-pound CO2 extinguisher. It's real good on Class Charlie fires, energized electrical fires, and small Class Bravo fires. Now, when you're flowing this, it also creates a static electrical charge. So prior to extinguishing the fire, you need to ground the extinguisher, whether putting it onto the deck or up on the bulkhead. The tag on the extinguisher indicates when the extinguisher was serviced last. Every extinguisher needs to be serviced once a year.
Halon extinguishers vary in size from 2 to 12 pounds, and the effective range varies from 9 to 15 feet. Halon is an extremely effective extinguishing agent, but provides little cooling, so the possibility of reflash remains high.
Make sure that your gauge is in the green, saying that you've got good pressure in here, saying it hasn't been used. In order to get this into operation, you go then pull the pin, break the seal. You want to give it a test to the ground before you start attacking the fire, making sure that you've got good agent. If I'm out on weather, I'm going to have the weather to my back. If I'm in an enclosed area, I'm going to make sure that I have a exit to my back. When I'm attacking a Class Charlie fire, first and foremost is I want to make sure that the power is secured by a remote source. Then I can go in there safely and attack the fire. Never turn your back on a fire. You're always back away from it in case it does reignite.
The self-contained breathing apparatus, or SCBA, is an essential tool for coping with hostile or unknown atmospheres.
You're looking at a self-contained breathing apparatus manufactured by Scott Manufacturing. This is a high-pressure system, 4,500 psi, which consists of a cylinder and 7 major components. 7 major components are the cylinder gauge, the step-down regulator, the backpack assembly, which consists of the shoulder harnesses and the waist harnesses, the wearer user low-pressure alarm, the wearer user gauge, and the mask-mounted regulator. Air leaves the high-pressure system, follows the line to the first stage regulator. From the first stage regulator point, it gets stepped down to slightly higher than atmospheric pressure, follows this tube to the low air warning alarm, which is mounted directly on the wearer's shoulder harness, follows the hose through and into the second stage regulator. The second stage regulator takes the air and allows the wearer to use it and consistently keep slightly higher than atmospheric pressure within the facepiece assembly.
Well, you want a constant supply of air so that way in a hostile environment, the smoke, the toxic gases and so forth, you've got the ability to breathe fresh air and maintain a positive pressure within the facepiece so none of the gases can get around the facepiece and into your respiratory system. Yeah, this valve here is to provide your air into your regulator system. When you operate it, you want to open it fully. This is the mechanical low alarm. You can hear it on initial turning of the valve, the bell will sound there.
The bypass valve is mounted on the side of the regulator in case there's some kind of malfunction in the second stage regulator. It allows air to go directly from the first stage regulator into the facepiece assembly.
This device here, which is on both of these, is a standby strap, which allows us to go over the firefighter's head and suspend the mask when it's not in use.
Seamen should strive to be capable of donning an SCBA in 60 seconds. You should be familiar with each of the following donning methods: off the wall, partner assist, coat swing, and over the head. You must be capable of changing your partner's oxygen bottle even if you're wearing your turnout gear.
That's a full bottle, right?
It's a full bottle. Okay. 2200. Okay, the bell just rang. You're set.
Okay, my gauge says I'm full, I'm off.
And know how to perform emergency breathing in conjunction with a partner.
If there's a malfunction in the user's facepiece, or if the bottle is completely dry of air, another member can come up and quick connect into this Schrader fitting and pump air back into the facepiece. This doesn't fill the bottle with air. What it does, it allows the user to breathe from another air supply.
There are two strategies for controlling a fire. Defensive firefighting seeks to confine the fire. It is accomplished by sealing the space, removing the fuel, and setting fire boundaries. The burning compartment must be completely isolated by closing doors and hatches and shutting down mechanical, electrical, and ventilation systems. Fire boundaries must be established on 6 sides of the compartment by removing adjacent sources of fuel and cooling perimeter bulkheads. The objective of offensive firefighting is extinguishment. It is accomplished by applying extinguishing agent onto the fire, either as a direct or indirect attack.
Hold them and carry on. Okay, good agent.
Okay, let's go.
Okay.
As hose team leader, you must be capable of selecting proper nozzle settings. Use a straight stream to penetrate and break up Class Alpha material. Use wide fog as a shield for protection against radiant heat.
Door's on. Okay, cool the door down.
You must also be capable of safely advancing the hose line. Approach the fire from upwind. Crouch low and maintain a clear exit path.
Hey, check for pressure, Dave. Last on?
Last on.
No pressure?
No pressure.
Okay. Go ahead and hook up your face piece.
Fire.
Okay, Skipper, we are on air, about to open the door. Go ahead and open the door, Dave. See no fire at the door? Okay, you ready, John? Go ahead and take the hose line in. Let me know what you've got.
Use a circular motion to apply the agent in an indirect attack, starting at the overhead. Discharge the water into the thermal layer above the combustion so it flashes to steam and drops down onto the flames. Complete the attack by applying water directly onto the seat of the fire. Where possible, jettison burning material or sources of fuel.
Advance!
Rescuing personnel from hazardous environments requires the use of an SCBA and safety line. Search the space thoroughly, using an organized pattern. In drills, you will have the opportunity to practice using a life-size mannequin. When the fire is out, ventilate the space. Water fog can be used for active desmoking.
Yeah. Skipper, this is Howard. Fires are knocked down. We need to overhaul.
Set the reflash watch. Search for hidden fires, hot metals, and smoldering combustion. Overhaul the fire by removing all burned materials and cooling and cleaning the space.